as we know, we're in for a pretty hairy 48 hours, and I'm usually in the studio doing these interviews, but you find me in the office at home, and I'm joined by Miriam Bradbury from the Bureau of Meteorology. Miriam, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Great. No, thank you for making some time. Obviously, very busy at the Bureau at the moment. What's the latest information you've got on the winds that are expected to hit the southwest coast tomorrow?
Yeah, Wednesday is really shaping up to be a very windy day, as well as a very stormy day, as a very strong cold front moves through. Now, the cold front is going to be attached to a low pressure system. That's significant because the low pressure system will actually be moving quite close to the southwest coast of Victoria. And the closer that system is, the stronger we're likely to see the winds. So, what that means for our listeners across the southwest is that we will see the winds starting to ramp up on Wednesday morning, likely reaching 60 to 80 kilometres an hour as the mean wind speeds throughout the morning. We're likely to then see wind gusts pushing even higher, up to 90, 100, 110 kilometres an hour is possible through tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon. In fact, we could see some locally destructive wind gusts tomorrow about the southwest coastal fringe. So between Cape Otway, pushing all the way back to the South Australian border. So certainly including places like Warrnambool, Portland, Port Fairy, those sort of areas. In that area, that's where we're likely to see the top wind gusts tomorrow, up to 120 or 130 kilometres an hour. Now, winds of this strength are definitely strong enough to bring down trees, tree limbs, potentially cause damage to properties, cars, or power lines. They're also likely to produce really dangerous driving conditions on the roads. So if you can, the advice is to stay indoors if possible. And if you do need to go out, travel very carefully in this windy weather.
We caught up with Dean Narramore from the Bureau yesterday, and he said that it was yesterday was a little bit too early to sort of get any kind of accurate timing as to when the front is expected to reach landfall. You've mentioned obviously mid to early afternoon. Is that what it's looking likely to be? Likely to be?
For the southwest, it's more going to be about the morning. Later in the afternoon, we'll actually see the winds easing back. So, to play out the day for you, as we wake up in the early morning, we're likely to see pretty fresh and gusty conditions developing across southwestern Victoria. Around the middle of the morning, we're likely to see the strongest winds sort of starting to ramp up. They're likely to continue through the rest of the morning, easing back through the early to mid afternoon, with the winds continuing to ease back tomorrow afternoon and evening. So it's really that morning and early afternoon period that's going to be the peak time for southwest Victoria.
And we mentioned obviously our neck of the woods, but what about the state as a whole? We've got people that tune in on Fitz Media right across the state into Melbourne, Geelong, Ballarat, and the like. What does this front mean for other parts of the state?
Very windy conditions extending statewide, in fact. It is worth noting that we do have a severe weather warning current for damaging to locally destructive winds, and that covers pretty much the entire state of Victoria, barring the far northwest and the far northeast. What that's telling us is that we are going to see this risk of damaging winds reaching the southwest during the morning, but then pushing into those central areas, including Geelong, Melbourne, and the like, through the sort of late morning, afternoon period, and eventually pushing eastwards towards Gippsland as well through the afternoon period. So the front and the low pressure system is going to move from west to east during the day, and that burst of really strong winds is going to move from west to east as well. So wherever you're tuning in from, just be aware of this risk through the day tomorrow.
And obviously some rain expected to come with it, but Dean mentioned due to the wind speeds, it's most likely the rain will be pretty much blown out of the way pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's it. We are likely to see some showers tomorrow as well as some thunderstorms. And of course, where we do see those storms moving through, we could see some more moderate falls. But the winds are so strong that, as Dean said, that rain is going to be pushed along very quickly. What that means is we're not expecting a drenching really in any part of the state. But as I said, we could see some moderate falls, particularly on and south of the Victorian ranges, including the southwest and around parts of the Greater Melbourne area, if those storms sort of persistently move over those areas. So we are talking double-digit rainfall totals in some of those areas, but as I mentioned, it's not going to be a drenching so much.
And so I guess in the short term, overnight, not so much, but early hours of tomorrow morning is when we're likely to start to feel and see some of this destructive winds that are likely coming our way.
Yeah, that's correct. Look, in the overnight period, we are likely to start seeing some showers, particularly across those western districts of Victoria, including the southwest. We may even hear a rumble of thunder, but those conditions will all really ramp up through the day tomorrow. So the strong winds, the showers are going to become more widespread, and the risk of storms will increase tomorrow as well.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Miriam. No doubt everyone needs to keep an eye on the Bureau of Meteorology's website and, of course, Vic Emergency. I know there was a press conference earlier today with all the SES volunteers, and we've also got to look after each other, don't we? And keep well informed when situations like this arise.
That's exactly right. Being informed is being prepared, is being safe, is what we like to say. So yes, stay in touch with the Bureau, stay in touch with emergency services, and keep yourself safe.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Appreciate your time late on a Tuesday night.